Today's guest is Mr. Mahabir Pun from Nepal. Are you from Kathmandu, Mahabir?
I am from northwestern Nepal.
Northwestern Nepal. I see. When I met him in the first time, I think it was 2003, he sort of made some extensive wireless networking inside the Himalayan mountains villages, using originally 11 dot something or very conventional Wi-Fi, but connecting 20 kilometers or more distance, uh, 3,000 meters sometimes high above the normal people's living places, so that there were not much interference from refrigerators or cars or whatever. And that led him to receive the Magsaysay Award, sometimes dubbed as the Nobel Prize of Asian version, by helping develop the communities. E-commerce with a newly born five whatever pigs of where there are two villages in the mountainside may take 2 days to walk and try to buy something. Instead, the local high school student helped his very primitive e-commerce in the villages, but using the internet. However, when I met him, say 5 years, no, almost 10 years ago, he asked me, well, he told me that he wanted to do something more than while in Nepal, making Nepal as economically autonomous, self-reliant, independent country by introducing innovations of digital or analog fabrications by putting National Innovation Center. Honestly, Mahabir, I thought it was a joke. But today, as he will tell you, how he is one of the most well-respected and recognized public figures in Nepal by doing National Innovation Center. And he also received the Jump Postal Service Award from the ISOC. Hi, Mahabir, it's your floor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening here, everybody. So it is nice to meet you all. I would like to share some of my slides. I think it would be easier to talk showing the slides. So I want to share my screen. Could you do that?
Yeah, I think you should be okay. There you go.
Yeah, did you get it?
Yes, there it's up.
Okay, today mostly I would like to talk about the necessity of research and innovation for Nepal, and I would like to share some of the works that we did during these 2 years of COVID pandemic in Nepal. But before that, I would like to give some of my background. So I was born in this village. This is a village near the Himalayas in the northwestern part of Nepal, and the Himalaya and the background is the Annapurna. So that's the village where I grew up. So after graduating from the University of Nebraska, USA in 1992, I went back to my village. I did not know what I could do there. So I just stayed in the village and helped people to start a high school. That was in 1993. So after we started the high school, I also got involved in tree plantation program with the Institute for Himalayan Conservation, Japan, and that program was initiated by late Professor Kaokita Jiro. So from 1997, we started planting trees in the mountains, and so far we have planted more than 1.3 million trees in the mountains of Nepal. So that was what I was doing, and also got involved in community development programs, mostly income helping people to start income generating programs, and there are many income generating programs that I helped to start. But I just this is just one slide I would like to share. This is the yak farm I started. That was in 1995. So we have a big yak farm now. And then while I was working in different community development projects in the field of education, in the field of health, and also income generation and the tourism programs. We also started some tourism program, ecotourism or trekking program with the communities. So I also got involved in building wireless network. That was around 2000. The reason we started this wireless networking project is because I had to walk from my village 5 hours down to the highway and then take a bus for 3 hours bus ride to the nearest city to check my email. I used to do that, you know, once in a month. So I did that for, almost 5, 6 years where I was living in the mountain. Then I decided to build a wireless network and I bring internet in my village. But I did not know much about that, how to do. So I got help from some of the university students from America and from Europe, and they helped to get this, wireless router in 2001. Using this small wireless Wi-Fi router, we become able to connect 34-kilometer wireless link for the first time in 2002. Nobody believed that it would be, it would work, but I know finally we became able to do that, and it is a long story. I don't want to go in detail about that. So these are the kind of relay towers we built on the top of the mountains to bring the internet or to connect different villages. So this is the kind of network from the relay station to the different villages. So we built a relay station and connected the villages like that in the mountains. So I got involved in building wireless network in 16 districts of Nepal, as shown in that slide, in that map of Nepal. So we connected a little bit more than 200 villages in the remote parts of Nepal. So our goal to bring the internet was to maximize the benefit of the you know uh, uh, information and communication technology to the rural population. So we are mostly using this wireless network or internet for tele-education and telemedicine, and then we are using it for communication. Now communication has been a lot easier because when I started the wireless network, there was no mobile service, not a uh, telephone service, not a single village of Nepal. So that is why I got involved in this. So we are using this internet mostly for education and medicine, and some for this e-commerce purpose. So working this way for 20 years, you know I was enlightened. I say I was enlightened. I worked for 20 years doing so many, different types of community development works and building wireless networks in the mountains and bringing internet and computers in the villages, teaching how to use it and, how to get benefit from it. Then working this way for 20 years, I learned one very important lesson, or I say I was enlightened. And I learned that Nepal is economically poor because Nepal never had and still does not have the culture of innovation. Because I was trying to find why Nepal is poor. While I had a lot of time to think while I was, living in the mountain villages. I didn't have much to do, just traveling and doing something. So I started thinking why Nepal is poor, and I found that Nepal is economically poor because Nepal never had and still does not have the culture of innovation. Nepal is too miser to spend money for nurturing the most innovative, creative, and talented people of Nepal and help those people to become entrepreneurs. And Nepal never tried to capitalize and commercialize innovative ideas of the most innovative and talented human capitals of the country for economic development. And Nepal government never learned that innovation is the growth engine for the economic development of a country, and it creates human capital, entrepreneurship, social economic development, clean environment, etc. So this is something I learned in 2012. So after I learned about this, I thought about starting something, but I didn't know. So here I would like to show just an example why Nepal is economically poor. Because we have a huge trade deficit. We have around 92 to 94% import, and we have around 6 to 8% export. So this is this current situation here now. That is why our Nepal is economically poor, because we have huge trade deficit. That is why I thought about starting a national innovation center, but I had no idea how to do that. I did not have any money, not a single dollar to start this innovation center. I did not have any idea how to do it. But anyway, we started it with some friends. We talk and we started it. Then we have this space called National Innovation Center that does not look like a National Innovation Center now. So how we support this, young innovators? So Nepal National Innovation Center supports this young innovator in 4 steps. First, we provide full financial support and mentoring for accelerating prototype design. We ask them to bring ideas, innovative ideas, and if their idea is good, we ask them to work on it. And we provide full financial support no matter how much it takes. Maybe 2,000, 5,000, 10, 20, $30,000, whatever it takes, we provide that. We provide mentoring, space to work, machine, everything, whatever they need. They just have to come here and work hard. That's the requirement. So, and if they become able to develop the prototype, then we ask them to develop the products, and we provide full financial support and mentoring again to do the product development. Then we provide full support for getting patent right, trademark, intellectual property rights, or whatever rights they need. Then finally, we connect them to the investors so that they can launch the innovative products and services and become entrepreneur. This is the simple 4-step method we are using here. So it has been just about 3.5 years we first established this. So we were just working. We were just working on trying to, helping people, innovative people to do something. Then COVID started. COVID started, and the government, imposed the lockdown in Nepal in 2020, March 24. So we did not know much about what we could do during this COVID time. We had not much idea. Then as soon as the government imposed the, lockdown, we started getting, call from the medical doctors from different hospitals in Nepal. They were so scared because there was nothing to protect these doctors and the nurses or people working in the hospitals. They didn't even had PPE, personal protective equipment, or what they call it. They didn't have even PPE in Nepal when the government imposed the lockdown. So that's why they were scared, and they were asking National Innovation Center for help to do something. And we asked them what we could do. And they came to the Innovation Center, and we worked with the doctors, medical doctors from different hospitals. Then we started building different things. But before that, let me share something. Before the COVID started, we were working on different projects. There were 26 teams working on different projects, and these 10 projects are in their final stage, such as they are building baby warmer, they are building coffee roaster, they are making egg incubator, electronic health recording system, hybrid dryer, chicken feed, monkey chasing device, e-learning box, green vegetable preservation box, medical drone, etc. These are the things they were doing before the lockdown started. And I would like to show some of the pictures of those things. Like this is the e-teaching box, coffee roaster, machine they are building here. This is the solar dryer. It runs on solar and electricity both. This is a chicken feed they are developing. they are developing different kind of drinks, soft drinks, and candy, jams, and other food products at the innovation center. This is the baby warmer they have developed. We have given so far we have given 25 baby warmers to different hospitals, especially rural hospitals and clinics. They are also working on bee project, trying to find ways to collect bee venom. They are building drones, multi-rotor drones and fixed-wing drones. Both our goal is to deliver medicine in the remote rural areas. They are even working on building solid fuel rocket. They are learning how to do it, and they are launching some of this type of rockets, small rockets. Also, they have developed a cube satellite, CubeSat they call it. Especially this sets are satellites are built for learning purpose for the high school students. But those people develop with the support from the Kyushu University, Japan. They develop this CubeSat. This is like a 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter big, and the government has launched this satellite in the space 2 years ago. They are working on it. So these were the things we were working. As soon as this, pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic started and the government imposed lockdown, we started working on different projects. And during this time, we developed and produce 13 different types of items to help the hospitals and medical workers or health workers. The first one is personal PPE. So far, we have developed 65,000, more than 65,000, PPEs and distributed it. We have developed face shield, new masks, power air purifying resuscitator, an isolation hood, dead body bags, isolation chamber, nursing robot, swab collection booth, aerosol boxes, UVC disinfection box, ventilator is under development, and we have installed. We also develop, mini oxygen plant, and have installed it. So, other than this, we got support more than like $1 million worth of different types of items for COVID from different countries. For example, CPAP and the BiPAP machine from Stanford University, snorkel masks, viral filter, pulse oximeter, ventilators. We got 53 ventilators donated by Gradient Health System. We help to repair ventilators, broken ventilators of the hospitals, 42. We also help to repair the oxygen concentrator, kidney dialysis machine, and so and so. So these are the things we distributed. I would like to show some of the just the pictures, just to give you some ideas how it looked like. I mean, how the things that we develop look like. This is the face shield and PPE that we develop. This is the swab collection booth. The doctor stays inside the booth, and the patient who goes to give the swab stays outside, and it is very safe for the doctors. So these are the isolation chamber and aerosol box we develop. Especially this isolation chamber is to transport the COVID patients in the ambulance. So we also developed this ultraviolet this disinfection bins to disinfect this tools and equipment used by the medical doctors. This is the you know hospital ward robot to deliver medicine. The doctors during this COVID time, especially in the COVID ward, the doctors use this robot to deliver medicines. This is the power air purifying resuscitator. They call paper in America. This is the one we developed here and distributed. We with Stanford University, we are also developing this. Our goal is to develop ventilator, but right now it is working in high flow nasal cannula mode. This is working well. It is not quite done yet, but it is under development. So these are the ventilators and oxygen concentrators we developed. Also, there was a very huge shortage of oxygen cylinder. So we collected as many oxygen cylinders as we could and distributed it to the hospitals. We also bought many or more than 200 oxygen concentrators and distributed it to the people. And this is the sketch diagram of the mini oxygen plant we built during this time. We found that it is much faster and much cheaper to build this mini oxygen plant using oxygen concentrator. What we did is we put the like a 10 or 12 oxygen concentrator in a series and collected the oxygens produced by the oxygen concentrator to a storage tank, and from the storage tank we compress the oxygen in the storage tank. Then from the storage tank we distributed the oxygens to the ward, to the patient. So we found that this is very good for emergency time, not only during the COVID but any emergency time. It is much faster to build oxygen mini oxygen plant. So something like this. So these are the ventilators donated by Gradient Health. So finally, I would like to share how this innovation center is running. So it is 100% supported by people. We don't have any big organization supported, neither the government of Nepal supporting it nor the any big donor organization supporting it. We get all the contribution from the people, individual people, Nepalese people or some other people, friends from around the world. So far, people have donated more than $1.5 million, and anybody who is qualified to work at the center, anybody who has innovative ideas that has potential to be commercialized. So we don't require any academic background for the people to come to the innovation center and do something. They just need to have good ideas, very good ideas that can be commercialized. And this innovation center opens for 24 hours and 365 days. There is no holiday. The reason we open 24 hours is because we are encouraging people to come anytime, whenever they have free time, to come to the innovation center and do something. So that's why it is open for 24 hours. And innovators can submit their ideas anytime. We don't have any deadline to submit their ideas. They can submit their ideas anytime because it is open 24 hours. So they can submit, and they once their idea is accepted, they get full support. What we are telling to the people is not to worry about money. It is something the innovation center will be worried about, but we ask them to not to be worried about money. We just ask them to work hard and try to do something to develop something that can be sold in the market. So that's all. That's my slides. Thank you very much. I have this, you know, website. We have a website. You can visit our website, nicnepal.org, and look at the things that we are doing there. I have my phone number, mobile, Viber, WhatsApp, and the email address there. So you are welcome to, take me anytime. Thank you.